Hi everybody, this is Marie Burwald with Well Oiled Today and Birth Bliss. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about creating healthy boundaries and nourishing relationships. And I think that it's true that all of us would like to have the relationships in our lives be really nourishing and fulfilling, but it's not always the case. And so today I wanted to kind of focus and give you some tools on how we can make that better. Because, we may have had experiences in the past that created relationships that aren't as nourishing as we'd like them to be. So, maybe our boundaries aren't where they need to be in order to really honor ourselves. We might agree to things that compromise who we are as people. And we might have connections with people that have become draining or unbalanced or simply don't allow us to grow or become the person that we want to. Or we might have issues where we've been hurt in the past, so now we've guarded ourselves and it's not easy to trust anymore. And so all those things can contribute. And so I know for me that I've struggled because on many levels I'm a real people pleaser. And so I'll sometimes agree to things that don't honor my own needs. And so in my own church, to kind of improve and figure this out, I started looking for some tools. And I wanted to share with you 3 tools that I found that really helps to align myself with relationships that are nourishing, that are based in, trust and respect. Those kind of relationships that, really we all want to have. So I'm going to tell you about 3 of the tools I use, and those 3 are visualization, tapping or EFT, and essential oils. So the visualization, and if you'll stick with me, I'll actually do this with you, and you can help, and it's a quick little practice that you could do every day to help change a relationship that you have in your life. And with the visualization, what we're going to do is we're going to use the power of your imagination and to start to shift the energy between you and that other person. We're going to use EFT to kind of free up some energetic, emotional stuff that might still be there. And then we're going to use the essential oils to really kind of lock it all in. And so essential oils are a really powerful tool to use for emotions because of the way that our brain processes emotion. So when we smell something, it actually gets interpreted right into kind of the center of our brain, sometimes what we call the amygdala. And the olfactory bulb is all wrapped around that amygdala, and then where we store memory and where we process emotion. And that's why memory and emotion and smell are also interconnected. And I know that you've had an experience like that in your own life where you've smelled a smell and it's brought back either a memory or a feeling. And that's because of just the way the brain processes. And that's why essential oils can sort of be a really powerful shortcut to shifting things emotionally for us. So the 2 that I want to highlight today are, and they're 2 oils that I think just go complementary hand in hand for emotional wellness in terms of our relationships in our lives. So the first one is Melaleuca, and my bottle of Melaleuca says tea tree because I'm Canadian and it's tea tree up there, but it'll be either tea tree or Melaleuca. It's the same oil. And what I think Melaleuca is amazing for is creating those healthy boundaries and just allowing us to step into a space that we can honor ourselves and we can honor that other person, and letting both of us coexist and not taking on things that maybe are going to end up being detrimental for us. Sometimes we do agreements with people because our boundaries aren't very clear that in the end up being detrimental to us. So yeah, I like to kind of think of the Melaleuca as kind of like a protective shielding oil. emotionally, in a good way. You know, it'll just kind of shield us from those relationships that are toxic or unhealthy. The next one is marjoram. And marjoram, this is what marjoram looks like. Marjoram's a herb. You've probably smelt it before if you have a herb garden. And marjoram is really good for opening up the heart. So sometimes, you know, we have that desire to have those healthy relationships, but because we've been hurt in our past, our heart becomes kind of guarded, and others might see us as maybe cold or distant. And it's not that we don't, you know, want to have these warm relationships. It's just that we don't want to get hurt. And so we're a little guarded. And so the marjoram is really good for opening up the heart. And so used together, they're kind of a perfect complement, right? Because the tea tree or the maluka really creates that protective space. And then the marjoram allows us to open up into that protective space. So our heart feels safe. So they're really great to use together. So how about let's do this, okay? So here we go. I want you to just close your eyes and imagine a person with whom you've had a difficult relationship, either currently or in the past. And you're just gonna close your eyes and imagine that. And you're gonna imagine that there's a cord running between you and that other person. And I want you to just reach out and touch the cord and just kind of see how it feels. Is it warm? Is it cool? Is it ice cold? Is it hot? There's a relationship that's had a lot of anger. A lot of times it's really hot. It might burn. And then I want you to notice what texture. Is it smooth like satin, or does it feel like rough like sandpaper? What's the texture like? And then how thick is it? Is it really thin, like a tiny, tiny strand of hair, or is it like thick, like a big cable? And what color is it? And I want you to just take a step back and look at the symbolism for that. If it's a difficult relationship, the cord is probably going to be difficult. Like that cord is going to feel difficult. Now what I want you to do is just take a moment and express from your heart center. You can just do this out loud, how you're feeling right now about the relationship. Say, you know, I care for you, but, and then talk about, just in your mind, how you feel about that. And while you're doing this, I want you to take your fingertips and you're just gonna tap over your heart. This is that tapping that I mentioned that's really good for freeing emotion. So you're just gonna imagine, and I'm just gonna be quiet for a moment so you can say what you have to say. Okay, then we're gonna use our oils. So we're gonna pull out our melaleuca and we're gonna just take that, I just do this, just got a little bit. Melaleuca, we're gonna place it on the crown of our head. Remember, this is our shield, creating our boundaries. We're gonna put it on the back of our neck. And then you're just gonna, this one you have to kind of go under your shirt and rub it right on your chest, right on your heart, okay? And then we're just gonna take a breath. Let that, and then actually just take whatever's on your hand and I just want you to breathe it in. Then we're gonna get out our marjoram. We're gonna do the same thing. We're just gonna put our finger over top of it, turn it over so we just get a little bit. And this one we're just gonna do over our heart. And then we're just gonna rub the rest on our hands. And again, such a beautiful smell. Just breathe that in, okay? Now we're gonna go back to that person and we're gonna improve that cord. So imagine that person still standing in front of you. Keep your eyes closed, see them in front of you. Now touch the cord and make it better, okay? So change that cord. Maybe it's gonna get brighter. Maybe it's going to change its texture. Maybe it's gonna get softer, right? So improve the relationship through that cord. Once you've got that cord, we want the cord to be able to send our, our care in a way that is healthy for both you and that other person. So go ahead and change it. And this time we're just gonna tap on our collarbones, kind of like close to our throat chakra, because we're gonna express again. So this time you're gonna just express how you'd like the relationship to be with that person. And you're gonna start feeling it feels better, right? There's not so much heaviness. I can feel it already. Okay. Then we're gonna do the oils one more time. right? And then we're going to do the final thing with the cord. So same thing, we're going to take our tea tree, we're going to establish that boundary. We're going to smell it. And then we're going to do the same thing with our marjoram. Oops. Well, if you get it on the back next, no biggie. But generally want it over the heart for this, because it is the heart-centered oil. All right, and then we're going to smell them. And then the last step is, now that this cord is much better and we've got a better relationship, next thing we have to decide is if you want that you want to pull in energy from the earth, from God, from the universe, whatever you believe in. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to imagine that you can imagine energy from the earth coming up. I know this is a little airy-fairy, but please just stick with me. It does help you feel better, really and truly. So imagine energy from the earth coming up, and then from the sky coming down. And you can imagine that is like a religious or faith-based energy, or just good energy, whatever fits for you. And then you imagine it coming to your heart, because that's where we're working at, really with the heart center. And then it's going to go, we're going to move that cord so that the cord goes from your heart to that other person's heart, right? Heart to heart. And now we're going to let that energy go through the cord, right? Through that cord into that person's heart. Okay? Awesome. And then we're going to ask ourselves, is this a relationship that we want to keep in our lives? If it is, we're going to keep that cord on from heart to heart, and we're going to keep it there for the rest of the day, or the rest of our lives, perhaps. If it's a relationship that's done, that no longer serves you in your life, then you just take that cord and you wish them all the best, and you just unplug it. And you just kind of allow them to go on their way and allow you to go, because some relationships aren't meant to last for our entire lifetimes. So, and you just do this every day, and it will heal your relationships. And so I want to thank you for joining me. These 2 oils, please connect with a person that you know that is helping you get oils. If you don't know anyone who's helping you with oils, I'd be happy to help you out with that, because I really feel like they are a tool that every family deserves to have in their cupboard. And if you're interested in learning more about essential oils and emotional uses, there's a really good reference called Emotions and Essential Oils. It's a book, and there's also an app. The app's called Essential Emotions Reference app, and both of them are really, really helpful. Okay, have a great day. Bye-bye.